I'm Meredith.
I'm Elise.
This is your 20s.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We're going to try this again because we weren't recording anything we just said in the past 5 minutes. So my name is Elise Haskell. I am a senior at DePaul University, and sitting with me is my best friend.
Hey, what's up? Oh, who got a text? Not me.
It was me, my
The
grandma.
phone is dry. Hello, I am Meredith Breda. That is my name. And I'm so sorry. We're both seniors at DePaul. And we were like, let's make this podcast because we've been wanting to do this for so long in some respect, some sort of content creation. We were between YouTube and this, but now we're just going to do both, I guess, right? Because we're going to put this on YouTube.
We have been talking about the show for a while. I also want to be very like, I don't know, just open about like this show and the journey I've been on with this show, and so same with Meredith. So this show is called This Is Your 20s. Obviously you know that because you're listening to it. Thank you for listening. But we want to talk about just some real stuff that you're going to go through mentally, physically in your 20s. Obstacles in the way, some real stuff that we've been through, some real stuff that you were going to go through. And we're just going to use this podcast as kind of like a communication between people in their 20s, because I honestly feel like there's not enough voice for struggles, like real struggles that you go through in your 20s, especially as women.
Well, and I'm so tired of hearing like, you're so young. You don't know what you're going to do with your life. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, you haven't been through enough life experience. And I would just like to say, this is not like a woe is me type shit, but your girl has been through a fair share of fun journeys. And
we have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot to talk about. And I don't think that age is synonymous with life experience or wisdom. And I think that's why we're here. Also, this is therapeutic for us. It's good to talk. We talk to each other all the time anyway about our own problems. We're each other's like go-to person, but this is nice to be able to hopefully get this on a bigger platform, because these are issues that everyone faces, whether or not they're... What did you do?
I think I spilled chocolate on my
I mean...
Don't judge me. I have a big sweet tooth. I love chocolate. So if there's chocolate on my shirt, leave me alone.
Literally earlier she asked me to eat like... So we live in a sorority, and someone brought in like
Greek
a giant...
We need to do an episode on that.
Yeah.
That's a must.
Let's write that down.
Write that down.
So someone brought in like a giant crate of cookies that are like individually packaged but like this big.
Best day of my life.
And I had like one earlier. They were super good. But then we just went to my boyfriend's soccer game, and she brought like 4 in her pocket, and she kept like taking them out. Hey, you want a cookie? I was like, no.
Mary, you want a cookie now?
You don't want a cookie.
Anyway, back on track. So what happened with this show, I had the idea over this summer when I was working at a job I really hated. Loved the people, so if you're listening, I love you. But I genuinely never want to work a job like that ever again. And I was like brainstorming ideas of what I would want to do with my life, because we're also going to have an episode on that because we're seniors in college, and that's a very real issue, just figuring out life. But I was like, okay, I really like the idea of a voice for someone going through what I'm going through. And so I created the show, This Is Your 20s, and I was going to co-host with one of my really good friends, the queen herself, Veronica Pierce. I love her so much. I could talk about this woman for days because she is just such an inspiration. We had this show planned out. She has a baby. She's 24. She's a model. She is a goddess. She right now is working on a program for postpartum depression for women, because there is not enough voice in that at all. And she's starting her own thing with that. She's been big into fitness, my fitness like goals. Like, she is wonderful. So we started the show actually in the summer, and you live and learn with stuff like this. Just didn't work out. She was very honest with me. Like, I love the idea of the show, but I just can't make the commute to DePaul, which it would be an hour drive from Indy. And she's like, I just can't do it with my baby, and all love, all respect, but I had to kind of like completely revamp, and then it worked out because Meredith and I have wanted to do a show like this for so long anyways, and so we were excited. So now it is what it is, and it's like mid-October. That's okay. There's no timeline for things. Like, I need to remind myself to not like
that's true.
freak out about this stuff, because it'll come, you know?
Well, yeah, and I mean, everyone's running their own race.
Right. And the things that we've been through this semester, which we're going to talk about today, have really like shown us a lot about ourselves.
Yeah.
And given us lessons to tell. So I'm excited.
I think this first half of this semester for me has probably been one of the biggest lesson learning periods of my life, of my young life. I had another period of time like this in high school, which kind of started my whole mental health journey. But this seems like 2.0 almost. And I mean, Elise can tell you she's kind of seen it all at this point, and it has been fucking ugly. Like, that is just the fugly.
It's been a bottom.
It has been a rock bottom for me. And I feel like, knock on wood, I'm just getting I feel like I'm just getting my head above water. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like walking with caution, because I don't want to get my hopes up and then something bad happen again. So that's where I'm at now. We just got back from a break, so I feel like I had a lot of time to reflect and think and rest.
Self-care.
For once. Just rest, like truly rest. And I'm feeling a lot better now.
Yeah.
But
more at peace.
But really trying to practice my self-care, not when it just gets bad, but in like more of a maintenance. I need to maintain it better than I am. Elise does a really good job of that. Like, you do self-care really well from what I can see. Mm-hmm. I don't do it very well. I know how to do it when like I'm in like fight or flight mode, but I don't know how to do it when things are stable and fine and normal.
Right.
And instead of doing that, I find and then I need to be more proactive about it. But
that's honestly been the biggest lesson with college, and that's why I'm so excited about this episode. Obviously, we've learned lessons this past semester, and this has like been the biggest topic. We were so eager to do this episode because we were like, we need to talk about it. We need to tell people what we've learned and stuff like that. And honestly, self-care has changed my life in the past year. I have really learned how to stay consistent with it. Like, so thank you for noticing that, because you never know that about yourself until someone else says it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But that's something I take pride in, like working out almost every day, like in the weekdays, like eating right. For the first time in my life, I've been able to like really appreciate working out and eating right for what it is, and it's not like a chore or like a job. Right. And it's the craziest thing. I never thought I'd be at this point. You know, and it just
feels so good.
Goes to show that,
thing.
It's an everyday battle, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing is, I think the more I view self-care or mental health or however you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, as a choice every day. And I'm not saying mental health is a choice. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying choosing what I can, what I know I can control, and what I know makes me feel better. Even if it's just for 15 minutes a day, whatever it may be, is enough. And it's important. It was so hard for me because for my entire life, I've been like your textbook, like overachiever. And I function off of extrinsic validation from other people. And that's just kind of how I've always operated. I'm always trying to accomplish new goals, but not really do it for myself. Do it for
validation of others.
For validation. And that's obviously something that like I've begun to realize as I've gotten older and it makes me sad, and it's something I'm trying to like dismantle. But I think for the longest time I was doing everything for other people, and the minute I decided to let myself like just feel whatever the fuck I was feeling and not be so ashamed of everything, and not be so ashamed of my mental health, and not be ashamed that I was really having a hard time, and stop pretending like I had it all together, that's when I think the real healing process began.
Yeah.
And let me just say, it has been the most non-linear process of my entire life, which can be so maddening at some points, but shows me that it's something that I'm going to have to probably deal with for the rest of my life. And if I develop these habits and these ways of thinking now, then
You're ahead of the game.
I'm ahead of the game.
And I see that in every workplace I've been in. People double my age, people triple my age. And this, honestly, this right here is like one of the main reasons why I had this idea, because they are miserable in their lives. They are so unhappy. They don't know how to take care of themselves, and they're double my age. And I'm like, it boggles my mind. It makes me sad, one. And two, it makes me realize how I need to practice that now.
Yeah.
Because I want to be happy. I want to be thriving when I'm in my 40s, 50s. Like, I don't want to be upset.
30, flirty, and thriving.
30s, I think I'm going to thrive. I'm not going to lie. I think 30s are going to be like because I'll have my career by then. Hopefully have like start up to a family. I don't know, kind of settling down, content with life. Your 20s is all about what the fuck am I doing? Yeah. Your 20s is about who am I? What's going on? Confused. And then I feel like in your 30s, you kind of have your shit more together and you're like, all right, I'm rocking with this.
Yeah.
I'm stable, you know?
Yeah.
But that's why we're doing this show, is because your 20s, you need guidance.
Well, and you're unstable, but I think that's the whole point. Like, I think it's
it's part of the plan.
It's a good beauty process. And I think learning how to relish in the instability is kind of a fun, I mean, it's challenging and it's a daunting task, but it's like a fun portion of your life because, you know, for most of us, I mean, I might go back to school later in my life, but I'm looking to go into the workforce, you know, right after I graduate because I need to start paying off my student loans.
RIP.
Yeah.
That's also going to be an episode.
Yeah. Student loans.
Money, just in general, money.
But I have no fucking clue what's going to happen a year from now. And it terrifies the shit out of me. But it's also
scary.
Kind of exciting.
That's where I'm at right now as a senior. Because I feel kind of, I hate to say it, but kind of stuck in this part in my life. And I know I need to enjoy it. My friends, I take that for granted. The fact that I can do this podcast with you and not drive a couple hours, like the fact that I can talk to you any time of day, all my friends like are in one place, I'm going to miss that a lot. Yeah. But I also feel stuck. I almost feel like I can't do much because I'm working on school.
Right.
I'm so busy with like student orgs, like I don't have a lease.
Yeah.
Yet, you know, and I'm so excited for next year because I'm going to have a lease time to do a lease things. Yeah. And like, that's going to be great.
It'll be great. But it scares the crap out of me because when you say like lease, you're talking about like the core.
A lease.
A lease.
Ew. Spitting everywhere.
Lease. You're talking about like the core of who you are as a person. For me, I think so much of my recent mental health shit is the fact that I feel like I don't know yet the core values of what make me who I am. And some people do. And I thought I did for a while. And then I got to a point where I was like, oh, wait, what the fuck? Who am I? Mm-hmm. What do I like? What do I really like?
For me. Not because I want to.
What do I like for me?
Right.
What do I think I like because society tells me that that's what I want to like or what I want to be like? What do I actually want for my career? Like what actually makes me happy on a daily basis, or what is just like paying the most or looks the nicest on a resume? Mm-hmm. What actually gets me up in the morning? I don't fucking know. Yeah. I thought I did.
Right now it's class. Like you gotta go to class.
You gotta go to class.
You gotta do your things.
Yeah, that's what it is right now. But I think for me, coming to grips with the fact that for now, that's okay. That's okay. Like that's part of the process.
You are now.
It's really fucking hard for me to do because I'm the biggest overthinker in the entire universe. And so everything has 10 different like confounding variables to it. But that's just like, I was in therapy today and he was like, you know, you don't have to think that way. You just don't. And the idea to me that it was just like something that I could start implementing, that I could take the easier way out of doing things and it's okay, was like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Which is annoying as fuck.
You. Yeah.
You know, because it's like I've wasted so much goddamn time.
Yeah.
I mean.
And I think topics like therapy are so important to talk about because I still know a lot of people who would be embarrassed to like say they go to therapy, but fucking normalize therapy. Go talk to someone if you feel like you have to talk things out. Yeah. It just makes sense. don't be embarrassed by that. The whole thing, this episode is obviously about mental health and like the stigma. I remember, Mary, you said this when we met. The first class we took together, we met because we're both in this media program at DePaul. And freshman year, all the groups, all the media fellows, is what they're called, are in a class together. And Mare did a project or something about the stigma on mental illness. And that was the first time in my life that I had realized the stigma.
Seriously?
People, yes. You opened my eyes to a lot.
Freshman year of college was the first time.
Yeah, because this is part of my story that I'll get into, but and my brother's story, actually. It's not really my story to tell, but I'll tell a little bit. Throughout my high school career, my brother was really, really in a dark place, and I didn't understand any of it. And looking back now, I actually wrote him a letter. This is gonna make me cry. But I wrote him a letter explaining and apologizing. I haven't given it to him yet. Apologizing for not understanding what was going on and blaming him as a person. I blamed him, like, you're lazy, you're fucked up, you're a piece of shit kind of mentality. I would never say that to him, but I didn't understand it, that he needed help. I didn't understand it was a dark place. He could not help it.
Yeah.
And so realizing that as I've gotten older and seeing his story and then seeing my story throughout college, like, it's been like a beautiful thing. And I think some people don't even know that they have a stigma around it until they deal with it themselves. And every single person will fucking deal with mental illness in their life. If you haven't yet, consider yourself very blessed, because it'll hit at some point in your life, and I hope you're ready.
Or it will hit someone that you love deeply, and you're like, well,
and you're going to need to take that on.
How do I help them?
I genuinely don't think I could have helped you as much this semester, and I don't think you could help me through what I go through if we didn't understand or go through it ourselves.
Yeah. Well, no, it's so true. I mean, I happen to have clinical depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
Which I'm
normalize that.
Medicated for. And lots of people I know personally suffer from the same thing.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. And I think what helped me the most was realizing that who I am as a person, like as a human being, my character, my soul is completely separate. It makes you disassociate and makes you just
less yourself.
Yeah, it wears the soul out of you. I can't. It's so hard to describe depression and anxiety to people who can't understand it
or haven't gone through it yet.
I don't blame people for that because until I started suffering from it, I couldn't understand it either.
Same.
And trying to give it words is one of the most impossible tasks like ever in my life. When I can remember when I first started like feeling really depressed in high school, trying to like explain it to my mom was like, it's like you can't put words to it. It's like an abstract idea.
And we sound like sad people, but we're not. We are so happy. Like, you'll see our personalities. Like, we are goofy as shit.
Yeah.
And we're happy. But this is like a conversation that needs to be had, because that's what people get fucked up to, is like, if you deal with depression and anxiety, you're just a sad person. No one wants to like be friends with you. But like, I bet people listening had no idea, Meredith, because you come off to people as a very different person, a person that you could never see, and you come off as like a very happy, like warm, genuine person. You know what I mean? In a way that they would never think twice.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly, like they would, but that means like every type of person can deal with this. You know what I mean? Every type of person.
And I talked about this in therapy today, that I feel like part of what is so exhausting for me in particular is the fact that many people who encounter me, whatever, don't think that there's anything wrong with me unless I'm super transparent. I've been told so many times by people like, "Oh, you're so laid back," or like, "You like are just you're super strong. Like you come off as this kind of like steely person. Like you don't let a lot on." And it's hard because I feel completely different on the inside. I feel like, and it's hard to feel that way, to feel like your outsides don't match your insides. but I don't want to reveal my insides. Like, I don't want that. That's baggage. That's ugly. That's messy. People are going to leave. And then it's just like resolving that in my mind gives me more anxiety. It triggers lots of things for me from my past. And it just becomes like this big fucking shit show in my brain. And just, it's just messy. You can't sort through it.
Yeah, you feel stuck.
I don't feel stuck currently,
right.
But I have felt so stuck.
I have
before.
I have too. I felt really stuck. And a year ago, so Meredith and I got to do this really cool thing. We got to both go to Cape Town, South Africa for a semester, but we did different semesters. So I went a year ago. She went in the last spring.
Yes.
So, I was happy in Cape Town. I was like really happy, but I realized how much soul searching I had to do in Cape Town. I realized that, holy shit, I am like very unstable mentally. It was a lot of change. It was a very different like lifestyle there. So that might have been part of it. But I was like, I need to figure myself out more. And I got that wake up call in Cape Town and I came home. And then for the past year, I've really like been kicking it into gear with like self-love, self-care. I've been promoting it on my Instagram. Like, I guess maybe people just don't even think of it the way I do. But the way I see it is like, I know people are on their phones and I know they're looking at that. I might as well help not only myself by reading inspirational stuff, but also help them, because I feel like it's normalized. Instagram has normalized talking about issues through art. And I'm not saying I hate you if you post pictures of yourself. Like, feel yourself. Like, that's allowed. I do that. Come on now. But if your only purpose on social media is to compare yourself to others, and if it feels like a competition to you, delete it. Delete that shit. I made a video about that on my Instagram like over the summer. It was like, if you are unhappy with it, why are you like a slave to it? Why are you pick it up every morning when you wake up? And if you feel like shit looking at everyone feeling themselves and you're not really feeling yourself inside because you've got stuff going on, put that shit down. Delete it. Take a break, you know?
What's hard though is I feel like the self-awareness, not everyone has that self-awareness to know that there are things that they can control. There are many things that you cannot when it comes to mental health, but there are things that are a part of your everyday routine, which you can choose to incorporate or you can choose to get rid of. And like no one says like there are no rules, but people seem to think that there are rules.
You have to have an Instagram because everyone has an Instagram.
Or one thing I've noticed too is like, although like body positivity and mental health, like the conversations surrounding that are like becoming more prevalent on social media, at the same time I feel like even when I post stuff about my mental health, like I posted this long kind of testimony type thing on World Mental Health Day, and I just felt like really called to do it, and
I love that.
It felt like I got so much support and love, which was amazing. And I knew no one was going to be like, she's so like fucking weird for doing that. She's crazy. But like that's where your mind goes. That's where my mind takes me.
There's something wrong with her.
Yeah. No. There's something wrong with me for doing this, and like people are going to think this, that, and the other about me. Like I feel like there's like rational Meredith and then emotional, mental Meredith. Like the chemical imbalance in my brain makes the decision making of like very simple things like posting an Instagram really, really fucking hard. And it sounds really, boo fucking who, bitch. Like,
baby. First world problems.
That sucks, but like, it makes every single small decision that you make every single day an exhausting task.
Yeah. So we just wanted to talk about mental health and the stigma behind it because we've both come a long way, and we both have some really cool stories to tell and to share.
And we're still learning. There's lots to still learn. It's like a process. But so we've decided to break up this kind of topic of mental health into 2 episodes because we went on for so long. So obviously this is the first one, and then the second half of this will be us telling our own kind of personal stories.
Oh. Anyway. But yeah, we will be back next episode. We have a special guest, Uriah Brown, will be here. And he has a really cool perspective because he is in the arts and he's going to be pursuing the arts and acting, painting, all of that. So we have some really good stuff coming up for you guys.
He's a very, very wise man. He gave us some awesome advice. So it's going to be a good one.
Yay. All right, we will see you next week with a new episode. Of course, thank you for listening. We hope you got something out of it. Feel free to email us. thisisyour20s@gmail.com. We want to get feedback. We want to know if this helped you. We want to know what you want to hear, what you want to hear us talk about, if you want to be on the show, stuff like that. So send a message our way. So, all right. You may not have your shit figured out.
But that's okay.
This is your 20s. Bye. See you next week.
Bye.